Congratulations! You've just finished your play! Now what do you do with it? Hopefully you'll submit it. And if you don't submit it, then what are you doing writing it in the first place? I'm just saying. I know it's common sense for you to submit a play somewhere once you've written it, or, you know, after you go through a few drafts of it, have a few readings with your friends or whatnot. But where do you submit to? That's a big question. How do you find the places to submit? Well, here are the places I've submitted to, and I've actually had some success with. The first thing you want to do is you want to do a Google search for playwright opportunities, playwright submissions, things like that. Once you do a Google search, you can find any local theaters and search through all the different kinds of theaters that are out there that are looking for new work. Find opportunities from big theaters, small theaters. I pull a lot from Playbill.com and also Backstage, the newspaper, because, well, it really shows up-to-date stuff and you really get things, you know, when they're really needed according to deadlines. Something else to look at: the Dramatist Sourcebook. You can buy this on Amazon.com or find it at almost any bookstore out there. The Dramatist Sourcebook basically has a listing of a lot of theaters, and will save you a lot of time from doing a Google search and trying to find theaters and waiting for announcements to come out. These list down all the theaters that are looking for stuff and when they're looking for them and exactly what they're looking for, whether it's a full-length, 1-act, 10-minute, whatnot. So you can use this to, you know, look for stuff and keep track. The other book you can look at, not to be confused with the Dramatist Sourcebook, is the Dramatist Guild Resource Directory. Dramatist Guild members get this for free in the mail, but you can also buy this on Amazon.com. Now, both of these books basically have a lot of the same information. Personally, I find the Dramatist Guild Resource Directory more up-to-date and more concise with their stuff, because they only update this every couple of years. They update this every single year. It's awesome. A couple of months ago, a friend sent me this link onto producer Ken Davenport's blog. Ken Davenport is a big-name Broadway producer, and in one of his blogs, he posted something about play submissions, and he sent me to a little site called PlaySubmissionHelper.com. See, usually when you're doing the Google searches and you're going through the source book and whatnot, you're charting down what's sent when and what the details are. Well, guess what? If you go to PlaySubmissionHelper.com and you pay, what is it, $30, I think, you get a giant chart of play submission opportunities, literally a gigantic chart. Now, this isn't everything. Seriously, this is like 17 pages long, and it's not everything you can submit to. There are new opportunities coming up all the time. You just have to look for them. You just have to pay attention to them. Find your local theater. Find who's looking for them. But the Play Submission Helper, you can't get a more definitive and a better organized resource than this. But honestly, keep looking for yourself, especially find those local theaters where you might know somebody, so you might get an in. Because let's face the facts, you become a better writer every time you get something produced, because you're seeing what the audience is reacting to, what they're liking, what they're not liking, and it just makes you a better writer overall. I mean, coming up on winter, you know, I had to keep this in mind. I have my thesis to work on, and this week I wrapped up The King and I, which was fun and awesome. So I'm here back at Snug Harbor for the first show of the weekend, Thursday night. It's a 5-show weekend, and here's the funny part. I've never performed in more than, what is it, 3-4 shows in a weekend, and this is the second weekend of a show. It's the first time doing something like that. It's exhausting and kind of trippy, to be perfectly honest. I've never done more than 5 of a single show. Yeah. So this is what it's like to be a professional actor. Interesting. I mean, even just working on King and I, just watching this production, being on the back end and not having to be the producer, pacing back and forth at the back of the theater, it was an educational experience just to remember what it's like to be in the doldrums, having to memorize lines, even though I didn't have that many, keeping in mind shifts, what's practical, what's impractical in regards to staging. You know, I mean, you could write a play where you have everyone flying on wires. Is it practical? Is it safe? No, but, you know, if you're not willing to compromise that as a playwright, especially when you're an emerging playwright or a new playwright, or, you know, submit to theaters that don't have that much money, you have to keep in mind that sometimes your play has to be simple. King and I is in no way simple, but they found ways to do simple things, even with the original Jerome Robbins choreography, which was kind of cool. It's closing night here at the King and I am dressed as a Buddhist. The last time in a while.
Closing day, closing day.
Super fun times. Either way, it was a fun experience, a learning experience, and I've been very fortunate this year to go from production to production to production to production. Literally, everything has kind of been overlapping one thing to the other to the other to the other. I mean, you know, I had the Manhattan Rep Show, which really started off my year as a writer, you know, last with the Cal Wardak. And then, in the middle of rehearsal for that, I got the Fringe Show with my play, The Girl with Her Hands in the Sand. And at the end of that run, I got accepted into the Solo Festival with a one-man show, Musical Theater for Asian Males Only edition. And then, in the middle of rehearsal for that, I got cast in The King and I, which basically helped me over to what's happening very soon, a reading of my play, The Alice of Ward 13. I like long titles. The Alice of Ward 13 as a finalist in the New Jersey Playwrights Contest. I am a finalist in a contest. It's me against two of the plays. Winner gets a full production and money and whatnot, which will be awesome. I would love to be produced by people that aren't me and have a check written to me that I didn't write in the first place. It would be awesome and exciting, and we'll see what happens with that. So next week I'll have more details on the reading, and it will be exciting. See you next week, interwebs.